Good evening and welcome to the February 14th, 2022 meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education. And we want to wish each of you a happy Valentine's Day. And while we're at it, we want to wish Joe Sims happy birthday.
Thank you.
Today is his birthday. We're not going to attempt to sing, but he knows we appreciate
that.
Okay. But anyway, we're glad that you have joined us this evening. First item on the agenda is the invocation for the board, and I want to call on fellow board member Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today being Valentine's Day, welcome, and I want to talk a little bit about love. That's what we're celebrating today, and I want to thank the parents for the love they have for their children. There's no greater love as a parent than the love of your child. And I was recently learned there's no greater love than the love of your grandchild. And so we'll talk about love. I want to thank the faculty and staff from Caldwell County Schools. We had some meetings today, and the amount of love that these teachers show for these kids, especially in these adverse times, is amazing to me. And it's not just the teachers. It is the custodians, it's the cafeteria workers, it's the administration, it's everyone from top to bottom. I want to thank the superintendent and his staff here at the Ed Center for what they do and the love they have. There's not many decisions that are not made with those students in mind, and what we can do that will provide them with the best learning environment and the best education. And I want to thank the board for the diligence and work y'all do. I've been amazed for the short time I've been on here how their hearts are invested in this school system. And then I want to challenge everybody to show love and kindness to our fellow man in our day-to-day dealings with each other. We can all agree to disagree sometimes and do it civilly with love. And finally, I'd like to ask for you to join me in a moment of silence. Even though this student was not in our system, but in our neighboring system of Burke County, they tragically lost a child to a very, very bad accident this week. So we have a moment of silence to remember that family, that school system, and those teachers in our prayers. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. It was brought to my attention since I see Matt Ross back there that today is also his birthday. He is one of our assistant principals here in the school system, so if you have a chance, wish Matt a happy birthday. But we're going to move on now and do our Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to call on Dr. Bill Griffin, who's going to lead us in the pledge. If you'll stand, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Next item on the agenda is to vote on and approve the agenda. Board has had an opportunity to look over the agenda for the past few days. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next item is approval of minutes. We're going to do this by consent here in a moment, but let me mention that we are going to approve January 5th, 2022 work session minutes, and also work session minutes on January 10th of 2022, and our regular meeting that was held also on the 10th of this month of January. So we have 3 sets there. Is there a motion to approve January's 2022 minutes, items 3B through 3D?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve the January 20th, 22nd minutes, items 3B through 3D as has been presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next on the agenda is announcements, and I'd like to call on fellow board member, Mrs. Ann Edwards.
Thank you, Chairman Pennell. On behalf of the board, I'd like to offer these following announcements. On March the 8th, we will have a remote learning day. I know it's important for parents to know those days and to have them on their calendars. And March the 11th will be an optional planning day. In addition to that, I'd like to announce that our board gets to do one of our favorite things. Coming up on February the 24th, we will be visiting Baton, Sawmills, Whitnall, and Davenport A+ School. We always look forward to those. In addition, March the 8th, we will have a board work session again, and on March 14th, we will be back in this room for our next board meeting. Thank you, Chairman Pennell.
Thank you. Dr. Phipps, you have an announcement?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to just let you all know that on the 7th of February, a recap of the district-wide remote learning and professional development day. A great deal of activity went on. I can't begin to explain how many different activities because there were so many, but the level of engagement and the work that was being done, that was time that was invested in our professionals, and it was time well spent. So thank you all for doing that. Also want to let the audience know, if you haven't seen this on social media and some of the other outlets that we share good news, our Career and Technical Education program, the CTE program in Caldwell County, there are 3 different ratings that the state comes up with. Our CTE program, we found out last Friday, is ranked number 1 in the state out of 115 school districts in 2 categories, and we're ranked number 2 in the other category, which is phenomenal work. So I tip my hat to the students, to the teachers, to the administrators in that program for vital teaching and skills that are being taught and learned, and we just look forward to seeing great things out of that program.
I'd also mention that last week, Caldwell County hosted the Mental Health Summit, and Dr. Phipps invited all of the districts in our immediate area, in our RESA district, and they were here, and some of the board members were able to be there, and Dr. Phipps led that, did a superb job with that, and also the team from Caldwell County did an outstanding job. I was just very proud of the great job that was done by Caldwell County Schools during that. It was very helpful, very informative sessions that we had. Next on the agenda is the honors and recognitions, and Mrs. Libby Brown is going to be leading us in that, and I think everybody is here, or a good many of you are here to see that. So we're going to, Dr. Phipps and I'll move down and congratulate those winners.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Branch, board members, and Dr. Phipps. It's always a pleasure and an honor to recognize our art students and the art teachers and the beautiful pieces that we have on display here at the Education Center. I actually had the opportunity this past weekend to go to Asheville and see a Van Gogh display, an immersive exhibit, and those pieces are considered priceless to the world. And I know you as parents and grandparents and family members, when you see your child's art piece, that's priceless to you too. And their choice to us too. So it's our pleasure to recognize the students, and we encourage you to come back. and to enjoy those pieces of artwork we have on display here. We're going to start with Baton Elementary School, and the principal is Jason Tiefteller, and the art teacher is Jennifer Green. So, Mr. Tiefteller, if you'd like to come up, and I'm not sure if Mrs. Green is here, but okay, and you can help with your students. Okay, we're going to start with our first artist, Brooklyn Crump. Brooklyn is a second grader at Baton Elementary School. Armani Phillips, first grade, Baton Elementary School. Takes you on your Armani Phillips. Okay. Riley Greer. Riley is a fifth grader. Adeline Haas. Adeline is a third grader. Tempest Taylor. Tempest is a fourth grader. And would you like me to do the second elementary school? Okay. We have a second elementary school we'd like to recognize. Gamewell Elementary, and the principal is Miss Adrienne Dula, and Doug Davis is the art teacher. So if they are here, if they'd like to join us, both of them. I know Mrs. Dula is here. And the first student from Gamewell Elementary School is Raylan Quick. Raylan is a fifth grader. Maya Martin. Maya is also a fifth grader. Eli Hensley. Eli is a fourth grader at Gamewell. Corey LaRose. Corey LaRose. Corey is a fourth grader. And Nevaeh Townsend. Nevaeh is a fifth grader at Gamewell Elementary School. And you all look as beautiful as your artwork. So we're going to get a lovely picture, and then we'll do our middle school students. And parents, you're welcome to take pictures.
Great job.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. We have another set of 5 art pieces that are middle school students, and that is Gamewell Middle School. Monica Martin is principal, and Samantha McKinney is the art teacher. So if they'd like to come down, if they're here. Okay. So Kaylee Zentop. Kaylee is a 6th grader. Okay. Aaron Martinicio. Aaron is an 8th grader. Okay. Mackenzie Wishian. Mackenzie is an 8th grader. And Forrest Hadley. Forrest Hadley is a 7th grader. So We're going to turn our attention now to character education, and the character education trait for January was optimism. And the following students have demonstrated hope, cheerfulness, and a positive attitude. They have been very optimistic, and it's our pleasure to recognize them this evening. The elementary representative is Easton Spencer, and Easton is from Collinsville, fourth grader, and Jill Pippin is principal. So, Ms. Pippin. If you'd like to come down also, Ms. Pippin. Okay. Would you like to do all three together? Okay. And the middle school representative for optimism is Yesenia Azua Martin, eighth grader from Happy Valley, and Adam Windmiller is principal. So congratulations. And for our high school representative, it is Lonnie Vinitsky, and Lonnie is from High Brighton High School, and she is a sophomore, and Courtney Wright is principal of High Brighton High School. We're very proud of the three of you and your cheerfulness and your optimism and how that's so contagious with your peers. So now we'd like to get a picture of our students, and parents, you feel free to get pictures. We have more students to recognize, as you can tell this evening. We're so glad you're here and all the parent support that we have tonight. We'd like to recognize Beta students. And what is Beta? Beta is a national club for 4th to 12th grades, and it promotes academic achievement and leadership. So thank you for being here this evening. We're going to start with our elementary level, and these are statewide winners. So Debbie Miller is the Beta Club advisor, and Vicki Cornett, if you'd like to come up and welcome your students as we recognize them. And Ryan Cooper is principal. So Mr. Cooper, if you'd also like to join us. Thank you. These are the students who placed individually at the statewide level. Max McGee. Max placed second in social studies in North Carolina. Andrew Kirby. Andrew placed second in math in North Carolina. Congratulations. Addison Gadori. Addison placed 5th in painting in North Carolina. So congratulations. And Addison could not be here. Now we have a championship technology team from Dudley Shoals Elementary. So they are the champions of North Carolina. We're going to start with Max McGee. So Max is up there, and we have another certificate for Max. Addison Gadori, and she could not be here this evening, so Debbie, if you want to take her certificate. Braden Frankham. Braden, first place in North Carolina. Chloe Smith. Chloe, first place. We also have 3 other students, and we'll get these certificates to them. Clayton Walker. Maggie Walker. And Tati Trewin. So Tati, if you want to join us. And we are very proud of these elementary students who have distinguished themselves among their peers in North Carolina. Very proud of them. Photo time. Congratulations. We've got plenty of those. Okay, now we're going to go to the middle school level for Beta Club. Oh, we love the matching t-shirts, by the way. William Lenore Middle School, Lisa Vaughn is principal. And the club sponsors are Robin Copeland and Kelly Massey. The North Carolina Beta Quiz Bowl competition brought this team out from William Lenore Middle School, and they placed second in North Carolina, and they're invited back to national competition. So we're very proud of them. Barrett Norman. Barrett's one of the team members. So Barrett, if you'd like to come down. It's fine if you want to come on down. She's not getting out of it. She's hurting. Lucas Sanderlin. Lucas Sanderlin, also a team member. Brett Dilsaver. Brett is a team member. And James Lutton. So James, also one of the four who brought the win home, and they have on their t-shirts as well. They're competitive competition t-shirts, so we're very proud of them. And we'll get a picture of those because our next category, the last two categories, will be our high schools.
Daryl, keep beside you, have him move over here. Yeah, it's all you.
And thank you, Dara, for giving me all this information, so I know you're proud of them. Dara Lawrence.
Mr. Pendleton, take a step.
Congratulations.
All right. So at the North Carolina High School Beta Convention, we had 15 individual winners, and we had a couple of team winners. So we're very proud of the outcome of our students at this statewide competition. We will start with High Brighton High School. Courtney Wright, principal, and Shauna Greeno is the beta advisor. And we'll start with our individual winners. Ansley Norris, 2nd and 11th grade language art. Molly Smith, 5th in two-dimensional design. Emma Hillis, 5th in visual arts painting, Division 1. Maddie Wright, 4th in 10th grade mathematics. Nora Cool, 4th in 9th grade science. Marie Wachter, 2nd in visual arts drawing, Division 1. Nora Cool, also second place, on-site painting Division 1. So Nora's already up there, yeah. And for the campaign skit, this team of students from High Brighton High School, they placed third in the state for the Very Hungry Beta. So we can leave that to our imagination. Tristan Evans, Lily Wright, Emma Hillis, Maddie Reed, Austin Moore, Molly Smith, and Nora Cool. So some of these are still up here, and we won't ask you to do that presentation for us, but it sounds very interesting. It's still, we've missed our dinner time, so you're okay. So we are very proud of this group of High Brighton High School students, and they are statewide winners at the North Carolina Beta Convention. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Congratulations. And we have South Caldwell High School. And no strangers this time of year about their beta wins at the North Carolina Beta Convention. Jonathan Hass is math teacher and South Caldwell High School beta sponsor. So if you'd like to come down, Mr. Haas or Hass. Rob Bliss is principal, and I'm not sure if Mr. Bliss is here this evening. Okay. So we're going to recognize your individual winners from South Caldwell High School. Ava Weaver. Ava is first in language arts. 11th grade. Georgia Reichling, third in biology. So very impressive. Okay. Rachel Krippner, third in music and fine arts. And Ava's already there. Ava also won 2 other awards, 4th in mixed media, Division 2, and 4th in on-site drawing, Division 2. So congratulations to Ava. Victoria Villacourt, 5th in on-site drawing, Division 1. And we also have 2 more awards for Rachel Krippner, if you'll get those to her, please. 5th in on-site painting, Division 2, and 5th in painting, Division 2. We are so proud of these students. And Jonathan also holds another high status with North Carolina Beta, and he is actually the North Carolina Beta sponsor. Yes. We're very proud of him for doing this. Would you like to say a few words? And just with all these beta achievements, yes, go ahead. For all these beta achievements that we recognize.
Let's get a picture of her. Let's get a picture.
This is Daryl's position.
I know my fine artists aren't enjoying being in the front of the bed.
Great job.
Good job.
Just very briefly, I don't want to take much of y'all's time, but I want to thank the board and the various school administrators for just their continued support of Beta. Beta promotes academic achievement, leadership, artistic achievement, and character development, and we've had, as you've heard from the list of awards, we've had a good variety from 4th all the way up through seniors from Caldwell County. It's been my honor to get to meet people from across the county. I know the club at Dudley is one of the newest in our county, and they've already been so successful, and they hadn't had a normal school year yet since they've started, but yet they still have all these achievements, so they're doing a great job there. And I got to read for those kids at William Menor, and they were just some of the brightest middle schoolers I've ever been around in my life. So just a lot of talent, and I appreciate what all of the parents have done to support it, and all the teachers and administration. And just if there's any school out there that's interested in get one started and bringing some awards home for themselves, contact me, contact Miss Miller, Miss Cornett, some of us, Miss Greeno, some of the ones who are doing it, and we'd be happy to help you get started, because I want to see even more success for our Caldwell County students through Beta. Thank you.
And thank you, students. Congratulations to all of our students for achieving this evening. And that's it for our honors and recognitions. Mr. Fennell.
We want to thank you for being here. We're getting ready to start our business session. If you want to stick around for that, you're welcome. Otherwise, now would be an appropriate time to leave. Thank you again for being here.
Makes you feel good. Yeah. That's just flashed up there to hold a check.
Okay, we're going to continue on with the agenda. The next item on the agenda is public comment. So let's turn it over to Dr. Phipps here.
I'm going to read from our regulation concerning public comment that comes from Policy 2310. It says, "Welcome to the Caldwell County Board of Education meeting. We now invite comments during the public comment period of the monthly board meeting. This time is set aside for the board to hear comments on programs, policies, and procedures. The board typically will not respond to the concerns expressed, but please be assured that we take all comments under appropriate advisement. To conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient manner, the following guidelines have been established. Individuals requesting to speak during the public comment period may sign up using the form on the Caldwell County Schools website. The cutoff time to sign up to speak during the public comment period is 9:30 a.m. on the day of the meeting. Groups with common issues are advised to select one spokesperson. Comments must be issue-oriented. Complaints against an employee will not be heard in public session and should be submitted initially to the superintendent. Proper decorum and civility is expected of all speakers. Speakers must refrain from personal attacks, insults, display of temper, or abusive language directed at the board, individual board members, staff, or members of the general public. In such cases, the board chair may terminate the speaker's time. To maximize participation, comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. A timer will appear on the screen, and an alarm will indicate the speaker has used the allotted 3 minutes. The total time set aside for the public comment period depends on our number of speakers. Speakers will not yield or give their time to other speakers or trade their time slot with another speaker. In an effort to ensure the board receives time-sensitive feedback from individuals who wish to share concerns about topics on the agenda, speakers addressing items on the board's monthly meeting agenda will speak first. The chair will invite to the microphone those who have registered to speak. Please begin by stating your full name. Persons who interrupt, disrupt, or cause a disturbance at the meeting may be directed to leave by the board chair or presiding officer.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. As of 9:30 this morning, we had one person to sign up, so I'd like him to come to the podium, Mr. Mark Gerson.
Thank you for the chance to talk with you today. My name is Mark Gerson, and I am running for school board. I thank you also for taking the mask back to optional as of today. I want to talk that they never come back, is my hope. I can show you dozens and dozens of studies that show masks are ineffective, but let's just take a look at one. The CDC did over 90,000 students in Georgia last March, and they found there was no statistical difference of wearing masks or not wearing masks. Why are we wearing them? Now, they're off today. I don't want them to come back. And if the masks were so effective and if COVID was so dangerous, why is there not a statewide mask mandate for adults who are actually, some of us, the elderly, dying from this? It's not the children. But yet, there isn't any. We force the kids to do it. Now, you could say adults had vaccines or a shot, and maybe that was why it was not a mandate. Well, we've had a shot available for kids for some time, yet we've had masks up until very recently. Mask wearing does irreparable harm to kids. My wife has two local friends who have had their own high school students commit suicide during this COVID time, two. The CDC says nationwide suicide attempts are up 51% during the COVID mess. Now, the only real difference is they're wearing masks, they're spreading fear, the kids can't see each other smile, they can't sit together, they're isolated, and it's destroying them. I have another friend. Her son is at first grade at Granite Falls Elementary, where my daughter goes. This poor guy has incredible speech problems. He was a premature baby. Even without masks, you're lucky to get half of what he says. You put a mask on, and it's hopeless. This poor guy has been in ultimate depression since the masks have been on. How is he supposed to learn how to speak properly when he can't see his school teacher's mouths move, he can't see his other students, he can't see smiles? It's ridiculous. So that has to stop. And then ESL students, English as second language. This is how they learn. My wife is an ESL person. Even as an adult, and she's fluent, sometimes she has a hard time understanding people because she reads the lips a little bit to understand. So there are serious issues with wearing masks. There are no benefits for putting them on. I also would like to see teachers. Let's get the masks off the teachers. You wonder why teachers are quitting by the thousand across that country? I guarantee at least part of it is wearing a mask all day. I used to be a third grade teacher. I can tell you if I was a teacher in this district, I'd be walking into school every day without a mask until you fired me. You can't teach, you can't smile at your kids, you can't understand each other. My glasses fog up, it's ridiculous. Let's also get parents back in the schools. Okay, my wife and I have never even met our student's teacher the whole year. We've never set foot in the classroom or even in the office. I want to be able to observe my child. I'd like to observe the teacher. I'd like to see what curriculum is there. What's in the library? We can't even go in. Omicron now is so mild, especially for kids. Why are we keeping parents out of the schools? Let's also take the masks off the bus. Now, I know there's federal dollars involved. I get that. But push back. Force them to make an effort. So anyway, thank you for your time. Again, my name is Mark Gerson, and I am running for school board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gerson. Next, I'd like to call on Dr. Bill Griffin, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resource Services.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chair Branch, good to see you. Members of the board, Dr. Phipps, have several items for your attention this evening. The first is Human Resources Services usual and customary informational items. These items do not require any attention by the board at this time. I would like, however, to draw your attention to the items that are before you, and it's 12 pages. 12 pages of leaves from our workers and teachers within Caldwell County Schools. That's from going back to 12/10 through February 7th for a total of 385 contagious disease leaves in which our employees have missed work. I bring this to your attention for a couple reasons. First, because when I add that up, majority of these contagious disease leaves are 5 days or more. It comes up to a total of 1,925 days missed. If we put in hours of a 7.5-hour workday for our employees, as 14,337 and a half hours of missed time. And I say that to say, I think, and I'm very complimentary of a job well done by their coworkers, their administrators, the people within the offices up here that are processing these leaves, because we still had students coming during these days. And our educators in Caldwell County sacrificed, did whatever it took to make sure that we kept our kids coming. And I'm grateful to those individuals. I hope that everyone that was out on a leave or may go out on a leave from this point forward is safe and healthy. And they're remarkable human beings, and they make a difference in the lives of our children.
Dr. Griffin, may
Yes.
I ask you a question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that report. And that's helpful in understanding those numbers. Do you feel that the change that we've just had in the toolkit, because we have to follow the toolkit, do you think that will help in reducing those numbers?
I do. Some of these were positive, some of them were symptomatic. The changes, you guys are probably very aware of the changes that have just taken place to our toolkit. I think that's going to be very effective for not only our personnel and our faculty and staff, but ultimately our students in school. And what those changes were, and I don't have them in front of me, so please don't quote word for word, but ultimately we are doing away with contact tracing, hopefully from this point forward. And that truly affects our employees and our students, because of contact tracing, we were having to send non-contagious or non-symptomatic people and isolate them from the workplace or from school. So yes, I do believe that will make a huge impact on things moving forward. Ultimately, our main emphasis has always been the safety and well-being of all of our students and faculty, and we want that to be moving forward as well. But I do think it will make a difference, and I hope to see the next meeting that we have that these pages are very thin on our leaves. Subject B, Human Resources, Usual and Customary Action Items. These are contracts. I respectfully request a motion to approve the Human Resources, Usual and Customary Action Items as presented this evening.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the human resources usual and customary action items as it relates to contracts as mentioned by Dr. Griffin? We have a motion?
I'll make the motion, we approve the usual and customary action items for contracts.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, thank you very much. Next item is C, Human Resources, Usual and Customary Personnel Action Items is our substitute list. I'm grateful to see that we have an additional number of substitutes here before you, and we also did a class this month, and we had 27 participants. So we are adding substitutes to our pool and hopefully reduce some of the numbers that we have here of absenteeism. I respectfully request at this time a motion to approve Human Resources, Usual and Customary Action Items, the substitute list as presented this evening.
Do I hear a motion we approve the human resources usual customary action items substitute list as presented?
I move that we approve the substitute list as presented.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Great.
Please notice David Caldwell's name's on that list.
We'll put anybody to work.
I do have a question, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Is the permanent substitutes that we've hired in the schools, is that working like we had hoped?
I've gotten positive feedback from our schools on that. We don't have a permanent sub, or a full-time sub is what we refer to them as, currently in every school.
Right.
But the majority of our schools have hired those, and they seem to be working out well. So
We did a lot for every school, is that correct?
yes, we allotted for each school to have that take place if they were able to hire a person that worked for their school or community. But yeah, I think it's doing well.
Thank you.
And finally, subject D, February board transfers for 2021-22. Total transfers requested are 15. Total transfers being recommended for the board are 15. Total board approval for 2020 school year has been 1,590, and total transfers revoked 1. At this point, I respectfully request a motion to approve the Human Resources February board transfers for 2021-2022 school year as presented.
Do I hear a motion we approve the Human Resources February board transfers for 2021, 2022?
Chairman Pitt, I'll make a motion, we approve the board transfers for 2021, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Dr. Phipps.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two items, 8A and 8B. The first one is to request your approval of the contract for Hurd, Eisenhower, and Lopes LLC. And this is the contract that we've discussed that would have them come in and take a look at our salary schedules, particularly classified, some certified staff. As you all know, we're required to go to $15 an hour starting July 1. And we have some individuals that may be just above that threshold now. When everyone else comes up to $15, there's going to be salary compression. And we want to have some differentiation between pay scales for a variety of reasons. And we need someone to come in and help us set that up. It will also help us do planning as we have the opportunity to put a number together to share with the county commissioners. And we know it won't be resolved immediately, but we feel like we have to have good usable data. There are also some areas on the certified pay scales that are outdated. Many things that involve administrators that come to the Ed Center are tied to a principal pay scale that no longer exists. So we'd like for this group to come in and help us set that up and give us some targets that we can shoot for in our planning, not just for this year, but beyond.
Okay, I think we're all well aware of this. Talked about it a good bit in work session. Do I hear a motion we approve the contract with Hurd, Eisenhower, and Lopes LLC as presented by Dr. Phipps?
I'll make the motion, we approve the contract with Hurd, Eisenhower, and Lopes.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any questions, comments?
Dr. Phipps, are you aware of any time in the past, I don't even know how many years that this has been done before, that we've looked at the salaries and the scales and the?
I don't know in Caldwell County specifically when the last time was. Many of the scales are elaborated and articulated by the state, and we're just in a situation now with what we have from the state just doesn't meet the needs that we have here. And we want to be fair to everyone and understand what it's truly going to cost when we talk about correcting salaries and making those moves. That it's not a one-time commitment, it's a long-term commitment. So many districts have done their own pieces, and they've tied some of those incentive increases to certifications and stuff like that. We'll look at all of those pieces and try to come back with a plan that has all of that built in.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. My second item deals with the face covering policy that we met about with the emergency meeting on Friday. Again, this is entitled Face Coverings. It's policy number. There are three different numbers that go with it: 4231, 5021, and 7263. As I mentioned on Friday, by our board policy guidelines, we're not allowed to adopt a policy permanently in a temporary and an emergency meeting, so we had to come back at the subsequent meeting, which will be tonight, for permanent approval. You all are aware of what's here, and I'm just requesting approval of this policy for permanent approval tonight.
Okay, let me just read through the policy here. Though the board encourages students, employees, and visitors to follow public health guidance regarding the use of face coverings while in school buildings, such use is not required this time. The use of face coverings is required only when on school buses or other school transportation vehicles, subject to the exclusions and exemptions in the CDC order that requires the wearing of face coverings on all public transportation conveyances. The use of face coverings when on school buses or other school transportation vehicles shall only be required so long as the CDC order requiring such use remains in effect. This policy will remain in effect for the 21-22 school year. Any other comments, Dr. Phipps?
It'll have to be voted on every month, as the
Yeah.
law states. And by including the school bus piece here, if the federal government were to rescind that order, then we don't have to come back to you. We can just make an announcement that they're no longer required on buses.
Okay. Do I hear a motion that we approve the new board policy 4231, 5021, 7263 regarding face coverings as set out in the board agenda that each of us are familiar with and has been presented to you? Is there a motion?
Chairman Pennell, I proudly make the motion to approve policy 4231, 5021, 7263 as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Any comments? Questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the board needs to go into closed session. Do I hear a motion the board goes into closed session at this point?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we convene to closed session to discuss confidential personnel matters pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A1 and North Carolina General Statute 115C-321 in order to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So the board will be going into closed session, and we certainly do not expect any action to be taken once we come back.
Is he ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, welcome back. We have concluded our closed session, and the only thing we have left is adjournment. Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
I make a motion we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we are adjourned. Everybody have a great evening.